Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Mark's Virtual Real Estate YouTube channel. Welcome to another video on Upland. This has been such a fun game and so addicting for me to play, and it's really exciting to see we have a new city release coming up with Los Angeles happening this week. So that's really awesome. I love the city openings. We'll record what I do, might even try and do it live. We'll see how that works. So if you have not subscribed yet, love to see the new subscribers. Today in this video, I had a really cool comment question about how I decide what to buy, or how do you figure out what a good deal is, since I'm also a real estate investor. So I thought it would be cool to kind of go over that, some pros and cons of investing in different types of properties, and kind of the pros and cons between just getting a yield or flipping to make a profit. So, of course, we love the likes, love the comments, keep those coming. If you want to find out what's going on in my real estate life, you can check out Mark Ferguson Invest for More YouTube channel. We have tons of information on our flips, rentals, being an agent, all of that great stuff. All right, so first off, when you're buying properties, well, actually, no, before I do that, Los Angeles is opening soon, and, we had the Oakley expansion, we had the Bronx opening up, and some people waited to the last moment to try and get to those cities, and they found out that the train station was out of tickets or the airline didn't have any tickets. So make sure you get in position early. So I'm hanging out in San Francisco. I might even go down to Bakersfield just to take a train down there. I don't know, but I mean, I should be able to fly to LA easily from San Francisco as soon as the airports and train stations open up. But it's a good idea to get there a couple of days ahead of time, just so you don't run into that problem of not being able to get there before the release, because that has happened to some people. So don't think there's unlimited tickets and unlimited train passages there. Do get there early. Okay, so I've been a part of 2 releases now. I just started Upland a couple months ago. It's been tons of fun, but there's a few things different between releases and just buying properties. So I just went to New Orleans. I had no idea what I was doing. I just chose that city. I didn't do any research. I recommend doing some research if you're brand new and you're starting out. And what I did is I just minted a property. I think it was this one that was close to the Garden District. And I had actually just been to New Orleans for the first time. I had just spoken at the Bigger Pockets conference. And I didn't even know you could click that button right there that tells you where the neighborhoods are. I was like looking up Google Maps to try and figure out where the Garden District was, and I didn't know there were these. So I thought I was buying in the Garden District, and I had no idea what collections meant or anything like that. I just bought it because I thought it was cool, and that was a neat area. So that's one way to do it. Now, I was lucky that I went to New Orleans because I minted an FSA, and this is one we're building on very slowly. And I paid $7,300 for it. I think that was my first one. It was one of these down here. And so, yeah, I bought a little bit of UPIX so that I could purchase that property and afford it, because you start out with less than that. And then I kind of get a little bit addicted, and I decide to mint a few other ones. I had no idea there was, other cities were completely sold out. They had no properties at all. So I got kind of lucky. I went to New Orleans and minted these properties. You can see now there's very few available to mint, if any. We'll keep looking. There were a lot of properties that you could mint when I first came to New Orleans, and now you can see they're pretty much all gone. Now, the only ones I could get were FSAs, which is the Fair Start. I don't even know what A stands for. I don't know. But so only if you have under 100,000 can you mint those. And for those brand new, minting means no one's ever owned it before. You can get on the property and buy it for whatever price Upland set for that property. Now, if you want to buy a property that's already been on the market, then you pay whatever price that person who owns it wants to pay. So I believe there's still some properties over here you can mint in New Orleans. So it is one of the couple of cities that isn't completely sold out, if I get down here close enough. Or maybe I haven't been to New Orleans for a while. Boy, it's mostly... Oh, wait. Nope, that's not one. So you can tell the light green are owned by someone for sale. The light blue are owned by someone and not for sale. And then you'll kind of see them kind of white ones that will be, boy, maybe almost everything is gone here. Let me see. Maybe it was down here where there's some stuff available. Anyway, wow, New Orleans is pretty much sold out now. Okay, so I was lucky getting in when I did. But looking at properties to buy, what not to buy, you can look at the yield or how much the property makes, or you can buy properties that you try to flip. Oh, look, there's one. We found one for, see how it's white? You can mint, oh, no, you can't. Or maybe you can. It should tell you once you get next to it what you can mint that for. So there are very few available in New Orleans still, unless we get over here, and there's a lot more. So there's strategy of, do you want to get rich slowly? Do you want to get rich quick? Kind of just like in real life, too. That's kind of how it works. So I do a mix of flipping in real life and long-term rental properties as well. My long-term rental properties have built me way more wealth over the long term, just because of value increases. I make cash flow while I own them. I've used leverage. And so my long-term rental properties have been amazing in real life. But there's some differences between real life and Upland. And one of those big differences is leverage, right? I can get a loan and really multiply my returns in real life, where in Upland, you can get loans. Like there's some places that are offering loans, but they're really, really expensive, have incredibly high interest rates. I don't think it's really worth it to do it. So in Upland, you're pretty much paying cash and then hoping those properties go up and collecting a yield at the same time. Now, the flip side, no pun intended there, that was pretty good, is you flip properties and buy them for low, try to sell them for high. So when you're minting a new city, there's tons of opportunity to flip. Like a city opens up, we showed it in Oakland. You can see how many properties I have in the Bronx. Just bought as many properties as I could. Usually you can mint them at a lower price, sell them for a much higher price, flip properties immediately. There's tons of opportunity to make money in a new release. So I've talked about that before a number of times. I talked about collections a number of times and how we do that. But what if it's not a new release? I think that's kind of what the question was. Well, some things I look for is price, yield, and if it's in a collection or not. Now, personally, collections aren't a big deal to me. They're kind of cool. They up your return a little bit. So let's see. If we open up collections here, we'll make sure we go to the Bronx, because that's what we're looking at. And some collections are a good deal, and some just aren't. So obviously you want to have your properties in a collection if you've got those properties. But a collection will give you some upfront money and then a higher return on your yield. So if we go here, Morris Park gives you 1.64 times what your natural yield is. So if you buy a property that was minted, your yield is based on that mint price. And that's actually going down now. If you guys haven't heard that, Upland is decreasing the yield from 17% to 14%. But these collections help you increase that yield. Now, what I've found in most places, not all, most places, if you get these more exclusive collections, this 2.3 times the yield is going to do almost nothing compared to the increase in value of the property, right? These will sell for 10 times, 5 times what the mint price was, but your boost is only 2.5 times. So buying in a collection is not real, usually not. Sometimes the lower collections make sense, and we'll show you one that makes sense here too. Usually it doesn't make sense. You're just buying for appreciation. You're buying a collection because you know other people want to own those collections. They're exclusive, they're rare, and they probably have more ability to appreciate in the future. So the collections are cool, but mostly for appreciation, unless you get to some of these we'll talk about here. So that's something to consider too. Now, something else to consider is not just collections, but the floor. So the floor is like the lowest price, either in a neighborhood, a collection, or a city. So you see what button I clicked right here, that little building over there. You can see the lowest prices in pretty much all of Bronx. We might be catching a few other cities, but they're more expensive than the Bronx, so it doesn't matter. And you can see the lowest price is $11.5. That's actually spending dollars, so a lot of times you'll have dollars less than UPIX, which we talked about in a previous video as well. And that can give you some opportunity to make good deals there too. We do that a lot. But if we scroll all the way down, we can see the lowest UPIX price is $13,490, which is the floor. And that's actually decreased quite a bit recently because of the new city opening. People are trying to save their money for that release. And so you've seen prices drop across the board in most cities because of that. And so you can buy property for $13,490, and that's the cheapest property in all of the Bronx. And if we go up here, $13,750, $13,899. So what I've done in the past is if I see properties, I'll just check a city and like say one pops up for 11,000. I know that's a really good deal. I'll buy it right away. I'll relist it for a profit. Now remember, there's a 10% fee basically for buying 5% and for selling 5% that you have to pay. So you have to work that into your profit numbers. But if I see something significantly lower on that floor than what I normally see, I'll buy it, turn around and sell it. And after the city release, these prices will probably jump back up as well. So it's really not a horrible strategy just to buy stuff at the floor and just hope it goes up, because it often does too. We've seen that in Oakland too. The floor has dropped significantly in Oakland, and we can go over there and check that out. So that's one strategy, is just basing it off price and the lowest price, because a lot of people, they only want to buy the lowest price property. They don't care about the yield. They don't care how big it is. They don't care about the mint price. They only want the cheapest property. So if you can buy really, really cheap properties and sell them for really, really cheap, that isn't a horrible strategy. I've done that a ton of times, where I just buy the lowest floor property if it's a good deal, and then mark it up 4,000. And a lot of times those sell, even though this property is cheaper, they still usually sell eventually. So I want to check here real quick and look at the Oakland floor, and it will be at 13, 13 and a half, 14.5. So the floor in Oakland was like 17 or 18,000 shortly after the release, and now you can see it dropped way back down, and it's probably going to bounce back up again after LA is released. At least that's my guess. So that's another strategy there. Now, something else to consider, right? If you want to make yield, is I always go to this place, upxland.me, sorry. And you can search for different properties, collections, and see what the yield is too. So this is pretty cool, because we can go to we're going to go to Oakland and show you some crazy stuff. Oh, where is it? It is in Alpha. There it is. So we're just going to go to the entire neighborhood of Oakland. We put in here for sale. We put in here sort by sale price. And we're going to search. And hopefully this works right, 'cause when you search for the entire city, sometimes it can take some time. Oakland, we got it. And we're going to expand to 200. Actually, yeah, we want to be in Oakland. Now this is crazy. So you can see the lowest price right here, $11. And it's actually in Oakland. There's some in Alameda, some in Berkeley. But here's something, you can see the mint price. That's what the property originally sold for, and that's what your yield's based off. So if you want to make that 14% return, it's based off this mint price, not whatever you buy it for. So you can see these are very low mint prices. If you get into Alameda, they're higher. You get into Berkeley, they're higher. Berkeley, they're higher. So the yield prices go up as new cities are released. So we can click here and see the markup. Look at this. You can buy properties in Berkeley right now for less than they were minted for. So that's crazy to me. So if you want to get a good deal, sure, it's a little more expensive than the floor, but you're making more than 17% now. You're making, probably 18% on that one. These are extremely close to the floor. Crazy good deals in Oakland right now. So if you want to get good yield properties, right, you can go to Nashville, you can go to Kansas City, where you can still mint properties at price, or you can go to Oakland right now and get properties under mint, which is pretty crazy. So that's something to consider if you really want to invest for yield, right? Check these out and see what areas have properties under mint, because then you're getting more yield than even then, and things have to go up in price eventually. So again, we're going to Kansas City. Again, you can do the same thing. 79% of mint. So it's even better to not mint properties and just go buy these on the secondary market if you're looking for yield. You can buy properties for less than they're created for. So there's a lot of opportunity out there if you just want yield, want to buy rental properties basically. And you can see here, same thing in Nashville. The difference between Nashville, Kansas City, and Oakland is that Oakland's in California. I think there's a much better chance of appreciation there. Everything's sold out really, really fast, whereas Nashville and Kansas City still have properties to mint. Did not sell out nearly as fast. There's not a bunch of demand in those cities. So if you want to invest for both appreciation and cash flow, Oakland is probably the better play, even though you can get a higher return in Nashville. These properties probably aren't going to appreciate like they have in Oakland. And you can also see, too, something to consider, these prices are slightly higher than the bare minimum of what you can buy. Can you really buy something for less than $1 right now in Nashville? Yes, look how cheap some of these are. They're still above mint price. Is that even correct? What is oh, I clicked the wrong button. I'm like, never mind. Ignore that. I'm like, what's going on? I clicked last price instead of sale price. Here's sale price, 8. So the floor is much lower there. And if you just want to buy to be safe, you can buy at that floor, but you're still paying a big markup, not getting that return. But there, right there, you can see one that's 8 that still has a really good return. So that's interesting to me as well. There's one that's cheaper with a small markup. So that's kind of what I look like. Oh, look, there's a cheap one, $10 under mint price. Talk about a pretty good deal right there. That's kind of what I'd look for if I'm just looking to buy property somewhere and not mint in a city. Now, something else to consider, which is crazy to me too, is if you can find collections that have deals like this too. So this is one of my favorite neighborhoods and favorite collections, and that's Mott Haven. And I have, as you can see, a few properties here. But the mint prices were so high in here that people are not paying that much for them compared to the mint price. So there's amazing deals in here if you want a collection that also has possible major appreciation. You can see 2 times your money. And then if we go over here, we go back to the Bronx. We put in here Mott Haven. And usually, before we look at that, oh, I keep picking the wrong button. Like that was a exclusive collection. So a lot of times you get these exclusive collections, stuff is skyrockets in price. Rare collections, they skyrocket in price. Some of these limited collections, sure, you can get pretty low price properties in. But these, it's a little tougher to get those good deals in. And then we'll show you here. 68. 317 markup in an exclusive collection. And if we do this, look at this. You can get a property. Now, it's a lot of money, right? You're spending a whole lot of money. But if you want to buy for yield, you can get a property in a collection in the Bronx, an exclusive collection, at 146% markup when the collection pays 2 times the markup. So you have an amazing yield on this property. Yes, you're spending a lot of money. That's something to consider. But it's in a collection. It should have good resale. And you're making more money than just minting on your own. Again, some of these are a little bit, that's more expensive, that's more expensive. You know, you get some cheaper ones and the markup goes up, but still $75,000 for a property in exclusive collection in the Bronx. And it's almost the same as minting it once you consider the collection a little more. So those are some of the things I look at when buying these properties. And finally, I talked about it before, just looking for good deals, right? Just like real life. I want to know the neighborhood I'm investing in really, really well. I want to know what collections are worth. I want to know what the city floor is. So I check those all the time. I figure out, hey, if the city floor is normally $17,000 like it was in Oakland, and then stuff is dropping to $13,000, it's probably a good deal to buy then if that's my goal. Right now I'm saving money like everybody else. And then I can look at collections here in the Bronx, and I had that open when I first started. But I've made a bunch of money doing this as well, where I'll just kind of click on all of the high-end collections, and I can go down here and see what the lowest price is. So the lowest price right now is $199 for a Riverdale neighborhood. You can see, you know, neighborhoods, some are on streets, and you can see what the prices are. So a lot of times you can get good deals if you do US dollars, and we go down here to see what the cheapest UPX is, $199. That's actually not a bad, for a Grand Concourse, that's not a bad price for that collection. And then you can see these other ones here. So if I see properties listed at $180 or lower, or I see them listed at like $170 or lower, those are ones I know are good deals. I think 3 times I bought ones for $170 or lower, turned around and sold them for $230,000 to $330,000. Made really good money doing that, flipping them. So all types of ways to flip money, flip properties, make money, buy for yield. You know, if you don't want the really expensive collections there, you don't have a lot of money, you can go to the lower priced collections as well. Here's a collection. Look, you can get $17, $18, $20 for properties in a collection in the Bronx. Now the markup's kind of high, but still, you can go here if you want to pay more. Again, really cheap stuff for a collection. And then we can scroll down here and see what the, oh, hold on. We're on the markup still. There we go. Scroll down here and see 17,000, 17, those are cheap. I know those are going to go up because I've bought a lot of properties. I might buy a couple now still because I'm addicted to buying properties, and relisted them and sold them pretty quick in this neighborhood because the floor keeps dropping because people are getting excited for the new opening. And here's Throg's Neck down here. You can kind of see I have quite a few properties in there, sold quite a few properties as well. And I think I've sold 4 or 5 properties in here too for dollars as well. So I can end up getting dollars. Go to my profile. See, I have $95 now. And then I can use that to buy properties cheaper as well. I don't have to always spend money out of my pocket to do that. All right, so there's my long, rambling video on what kind of properties to buy, how to find good deals, how to find good yield properties, and kind of relate it to real life, what we're doing as well. And a lot of it comes down to just knowing neighborhoods really well, knowing prices really well. And it can be kind of overwhelming if you first start and see all these different cities and different neighborhoods. But just remember, the more you look at it, the more you explore, the more you look at prices, the more you'll be familiar with what they are, and it won't seem that crazy in the end. All right, thanks for watching. Love the comments, love the support. Like I said, our real estate channel is Invest for More. Check that out if you want to see what we're doing there. And we'll be back with many more videos coming up here soon, especially with the new Los Angeles release.